Well, we've had 9 more M flares today, December 16th, 2022, thus far, and we still have at least 4 hours left in the day. So far, we've had 26 M flares in less than 72 hours, all caught on our GOES X-ray flux, a satellite with a low Earth orbit, meaning that if it caught the X-rays, there was an Earth component to everything you see here. Head over to GOES Solar Ultraviolet Imager, 195 angstroms. We have a coronal hole pointed directly towards Earth. We should be seeing an uptick in solar winds within about 24 hours, and another coronal hole in the northern hemisphere, and lots of sunspots, as we will soon see. Sunspot 3165 that is now going around the limb is responsible for an M3.5 flare today and associated CME. Now we're heading over to STO, but this is the STO HMI magnetogram image, and you can see that the Earth-facing sunspots here and here are just as powerful. Everyone should be very interested here. Basically, we have our KP index shut down. Shut down, ladies and gentlemen, all 4 of them. After 3 hours of today, they also shut down our main KP index, the one that NOAA puts out every day. Completely shut down. So is our X-ray flux. Let me show you. It's completely shut down. They know that we're about to get pounded and are probably in their bunkers, and they've shut down all of the equipment. So I can't warn you exactly when we are getting hit.
What's up, fam, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for stopping by the channel. So as you see from the report that we just saw, that we're having an uptake in solar flares, and it started from the 16th, which was Friday. And they cut the data so you can't really see how much solar winds are hitting the earth right now. Now, even if it's raining in your area, that does not matter. These are solar flares, okay? So what I wanted to talk about, which we've been talking about, we were talking about our sun and how our sun has been, we've seen a lot of activity with the sun right now. And we've broken down here on the channel what the sun is. And we talked about the sun being the light of God, it being the love of the Most High coming into our earth right now. And so we look on the screen here and we have the sun is still in Ophiuchus, and we talked about that in other videos. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And so now I wanted to talk a little bit about Sagittarius today. So if we look here, we have on the screen, we have the man on a horse riding, and he has an archer in his hand, and he has, you see the wings, right? And then you see here, you see the crown, okay, right here. And if you look at where the archer he's pointing it at the scorpion. And we talked about the scorpion, what it represented. It has a negative and it has a positive attributes. And in the negative, it's more oppressive. It's tearing down, because you see him going after the man's heel. So it's wounding, it's oppressive, it's bossy, it's everything that is represents everything that is keeping the soul imprisoned, right? The attacks. But in this positive, it is brave, it speaks the truth, it doesn't tear down. But here you see him going after the scorpion. And Sagittarius just represents victory and triumph. So I wanted to read from Luke before we go into, because I want to explain the two planets, which are separates, that are in Sagittarius right now. And we'll break it down to kind of understand what's happening currently right now, okay? So I want to read from Luke 15, verse 18 and 22. And just to kind of give us some background before we get into discussing Mercury and Venus in Sagittarius right now. So Luke 15, 18 through 22 is the story of the prodigal son. And many of you have heard that story before. So I'm just going to start at 18. I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. So in this story here, you see that the son, he went off, we know the story. He went off and he did his thing. And he he was sorry. He was sorry and he wanted to go back home. He wanted to return, which is us now, which is the journey of the soul. We're being called back to our Father now. We've been out here, we've been in duality, we've been in this world, and now we want to go back home. And the Father saw him from afar off. He saw him coming, just like the Most High knew a lot of us would return. And he prepared. He was happy. And he put on a righteous robe on him and put a ring on his hand, that covenant. And here we have the restoration, the kingship, the royalty, the splendor that is waiting for us when we return. So let's get into these constellations and let's look at the planets a little bit. So we talking about Mercury and Venus being in Sagittarius, and we know Sagittarius is dealing with triumph, is victory. And it is a fire sign. So this is a soul when it has come out of the chains and the grip of the enemy in Pisces, that yoke around the neck. Now it is on fire for the Most High, and it's going after its enemies. This is the soul that is taking over authority, right? And this, I want to show you guys something right now, because I want to look right here at the time, and you see the date stamp. What I'm going over is something that is happening now in real time. So I'm not predicting the future, anything to anyone. This is happening right now, okay? I wanted to make sure I say that. So you can see the picture a little bit better here with the archer, and he's pointing right at the scorpion, right? And we see the sun here still in Ophiuchus. He's wrestling with the snake. He's also stomping on the scorpion. He's treading him under feet. And we see the crown laying at Sagittarius' feet right here, all right? So let's get into Sagittarius. It's the archer. The Hebrew name for this is Keseth, which means the archer. The Arabic name is al-Qaz, the arrow. In Coptic, it is graciousness or coming forth. The name of the brightest star is significant because they have other stars in Sagittarius. And one of the Hebrew names for the stars in Sagittarius is Naim, which means the gracious one. This is exactly what is said of this victor. According to Grecian fable, this Sagittarius is Cheiron, the chief centaur, noble in character. I want you guys to catch this in the spirit. Righteous in his dealings, divine in his power. See, this is the soul that's triumphing. In the ancient zodiac of Dendera, he is called graciousness, beauty of the appearing or coming forth. See? The characters under the hind foot read he conquers. And I explained to you that this is a fire sign, and these wings represent freedom. And then you see the crown. Also in Sagittarius, you have Lyra, the harp, praised, prepared for the conqueror. And just like I said in the story of the prodigal son, when the son returned, the father had a celebration upon him returning. See? victory. Then you have aura. That is the altar. That is a consuming fire prepared for his enemies. So this is a soul that is taking authority over his enemies. He's no longer in oppression. He's no longer allowing doubt, fear to hold him back. He has confidence now. Then also you have in this constellation Draco the dragon, okay? So let's look at Venus and Mercury just a little bit. So here we have our cosmic tree, and we talked about these being the Sifrits, the planets, these are angels. These are higher levels of consciousness, right? That is infused into our being. All right. So here you have Venus, victory, quality of persistence. See, and you see that in Sagittarius. This is what makes the soul victorious: the quality of persevering, being persistent on your journey with the Most High, being persistent, like that woman who had the issue of blood. She was not going to let go of Yeshaya until she was blessed. Then you have Mercury, which means glory, splendor, patience, and hidden strength. See, it takes a lot to persevere. And that hidden strength that you don't even know that you have. To him that overcometh, I will grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. You see what happens when we come out of these mental chains. We break free. We are robed with splendor, victory. We're welcome back, and the Most High celebrates us. We move into our inheritance, to that royalty. So what I found was interesting, because as always, we have the sun, because love is always at the heart of this, right? And here you have the sun here. But here's Venus, which is in Sagittarius, and here is Mercury, which is also in Sagittarius. And then these two, when you bring them together, when you put victory, persistence, glory and splendor and patience, you have these attributes and characteristics that builds that foundation. See? That creation, that foundation, that balance. And then this is what manifests into the earth. So you conquer internally, and then you are able to conquer everything on the outside. See? Let's take a look. Here you see that Venus and Mercury, they sit here on the solar plexus, right? That's yellow. That's the color yellow, sunshine. When you think about yellow, it's happiness, it's vibrant, that's solar, right? So let's look at that. That's the seat of the emotions and connects feelings with personal will, because I want to show you what's being worked on right now. It is a seat of focus, decision, and willpower. See? Because before you can be victorious and you can be that conqueror, you can be Sagittarius, you have to deal with some things. Your focus, you have to be focused. You have to make right decisions, and you have to have willpower, self-control. That's strength when you have willpower. That's that hidden strength. When this energy center, which they call chakras, is balanced, the person feels confident, decisive, focused, and committed to his or her path. See, this stuff is happening right now in real time, but we didn't understand it because we were told everything is evil and wicked. And I'm showing you here now. Some of you all, I know, because you're telling me, some of you all feel confidence right now. And if you're not feeling these things, these are some areas that need to be worked on. When this area, when this energy center or this chakra is overactive, you have bossiness, narrow-mindedness, abrasiveness, and dictatorship, which goes in line with the scorpion. This is why Sagittarius is going after the scorpion, because he has to deal with these things, these issues, these mindsets, these little foxes that are in us, narrow-mindedness. This is what he's attacking. He's attacking abrasiveness. Then you have underactive. When this solar plex is underactive, when this energy source is not properly aligned, you have wishy-washiness, inability to concentrate, passiveness, obliviousness, and ignorance. See, this is the work that has to be done. See? And Sagittarius has worked on these things. This is a soul that continues to work on these things. This is a continual work that we have to do. And this is why we have to be conscious every day of how we live. We are becoming. It is a lifelong process. The area of this is the stomach, intestines, gallbladder, liver, pancreas, and your spleen. A lot of times, some people, they're feeling a lot of bloatiness in this area, digestive issues. Your body is an alarm. It always tells you what's going on. It's that sometimes we're not in tune and we're not listening. Let's look at some of the emotions that are lined up with this, the stomach area. Anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry, failure, feeling helpless, hopelessness, lack of control, low self-esteem. See, the archer is going after all of these things right here. And we have to go after these things. We have to take authority over these things. But the good news is that the Most High sees us from afar off, and he welcomes us back in with love and a new robe and a covenant ring he puts on our finger. Royalty, that's splendor. And this is the work that is being done right now. We're all at different stages of this, but we have the heavenly support. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let's keep going, you guys. So now you have the solar plex, and it's going down to foundation, which we have the moon right now, which is in Virgo. Virgo does not just mean the handmaiden. The Virgo also represents Earth. Earth is physical, manifestation, action. See? It's about action. Taking control, taking authority over your situation. So what is happening internally manifests outside. So what's ever going on with internally and in us right now is going to manifest in your physical. See? But we have to take action. What are we manifesting? What's internally, what's going on in us? Let's look at the sacral, because that's right here, and it's orange. It represents our sexuality, sexual impulses, and creativity. This is the center of procreation. When we operate primarily from this area, we see the world in terms of our desires. And our main motivation is to make sure that our relationships are gratified. When this chakra is balanced, he or she enjoys life, they feel happy, and they're creative. And this, I'm going to tell you something, guys. If you know, this is a good time to be creative, to get back in tune with what it is that you like to do. Now, when it's overactive, it's greediness, addiction, anxiety, compulsiveness, and frustrations. The Most High said He would give us the desires of our heart. But what has happened is our desires have changed. We no longer want the desires that the Most High gives us. And this is where you see this greediness and addiction, see? And people's desires are off. It's all about gratification and self. What can I get from this? It's more of taking than giving. The desires are all off. When He said, I will give you the desires of your heart. But if you're not in tune and you're not aligned, then you don't even know what the desires are that He has for you. When it's underactive, is disinterest. See? A lot of people are emotionally unavailable, repressed feelings, repressed emotions, cold, self deprivation, depression, denial, right? These are the things that Archer is coming after. Let's talk a little bit about that robe that the Most High is putting on. Because a lot of times, guys, when we see the Bible, we always just focus on the physical things. But the Most High is a spirit. He's light. All right. And let's talk a little bit about that garment. All right. We're going to go to Zechariah 3. And he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. This is why the archer is like fiery. He's on fire for the Most High. He's no longer allowing that oppression and that oppressive mindset to keep him down. Now, Joshua was clothed with filthy garments. And you remember in the story with the prodigal son, that's the first thing the father did, took off those old garments and put on a new one on him. The same thing is happening here with Joshua, and he stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, take away the filthy garments from him. That's what's being done with us right now. The filthy garments of depression, the filthy garments of anxiety, the filthy garments of fear, the filthy garments of being cold, emotionally unavailable. And unto him he said, behold, I have caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. And I said, let them set a fair mitre upon his head. That's the anointing. It's not just a physical head thing. It's the anointing. So they set a fair mitre upon his head and clothed him with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by. I said in a previous video that you are the gem. You are the true star. And when heaven and earth connects, this is your light garment. Sagittarius is the victor. This is what we're working towards. This is what is happening now. Thank you all for stopping by the channel. Shalom.